Babidi was able to get possession of Cell, having him fight Gohan, gaining power from that. And thanks to this, there was more than enough energy to actually revive Majin Buu, and now he's free, running rampant. Plus, Cell's there too, which kinda complicates things. So what's gonna happen now? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 3 of What If Cell Survived. The fight between Buu and the group fully begins, with Babidi sticking him on there. He tells Cell it's a shame that he's still not possessed. Had he still been there, he probably would have survived this, but he'll be facing Buu's wrath now. Besides, it's not really like he needed another servant anyways. But Buu starts to feel a bit hungry during the battle, and decides, why not turn somebody into candy? He launches a candy beam, but Vegeta tells him to watch out. You can tell this is no normal beam. The last guy was able to turn things into stone, so he warns him to not have any of Buu's beams touch them. The beam's aimed right at Gohan, who quickly picks up a rock from the ground and throws it at the beam, with that rock turning to candy, and then Buu sucking it in. He then starts rapid firing them everywhere with everyone trying to dodge it the best they can. Vegeta's not too sure how to feel because now they're fighting alongside Cell fully, and he doesn't think they could trust Cell, especially after what just happened. He kinda caused Buu to be revived after all. And Cell tells Vegeta to quiet down. He didn't want that to happen. But he thanks Vegeta for reminding him. He does need to pay back Babidi somehow. Covertly, he begins stretching out his tail, dragging it across the ground, trying to reach where Babidi is. And thankfully Babidi doesn't notice it at all, with Cell's tail creeping up behind him as he starts choking Babidi out. He then pulls his tail back to him with Babidi in it, telling Babidi not to play with him any longer. And Babidi's barely able to speak, and he only has one shot at this, telling Buu to attack immediately, with Buu launching in and then Cell keeping distant, stretching his tail out and using Babidi as a meat shield. And just in the nick of time, Babidi's able to stop Buu, telling him to cut Cell's tail, which he does. That was a bit too close for Babidi. But Cell can clearly see now, Babidi's controlling that blob. Without Babidi, Majin Buu might not be able to do anything intelligent. And Cell has an idea. Maybe if they just get rid of Babidi, that'll solve all their problems. And there's only one way to find out. Cell's severed tail is still on the ground near Babidi, and Cell hasn't regenerated a new one, and maybe he can kinda control that somehow. All the while everyone else is fending off Majin Buu. And it's actually not too tough, especially with Gohan there, who decides to use his full power once more going into Super Saiyan 3. The issue is they need to hit Buu with one strong attack, and they need to be really careful about it. But if they could get that one attack in, that'll be enough to prevent him from regenerating. But meanwhile, Cell has a different objective. He's trying to get rid of Babidi. Babidi actually is a big issue here because he's basically planning everything for Buu, being the brains for him in this battle. But Cell starts wailing on that detached tail, and slowly, it creeps up on Babidi, wrapping around him once more, but this time wrapping around his mouth too, so he can't yell out to Buu. Cell then stretches it out, reattaching it to himself. It was a bit tough to focus on and control from that distance, but it worked, and he starts actually absorbing all of Babidi's power. This way he can kill him, and get a nice little snack with it too. Plus, he wonders what kind of abilities he'll get from Babidi. And as he absorbs Babidi, he doesn't feel too much strength from it. Sure, it is a little bit of a boost, but not a noticeable boost in power. But he feels a strange sensation take over him. Gohan then yells out at him, telling him to watch out. Cell was so focused on Babidi that he didn't even pay attention to Buu, and a candy beam flies right towards him. Instinctively, he does put his arms up to guard it, only realizing at the last second what it is. Gohan, Vegeta, and Piccolo watch on thinking that Cell is gonna turn into candy, but somehow, Cell's completely fine. He didn't even feel anything from the beam. And Buu looks on a bit confused, trying to do it again. He wants Cell to turn to candy. Maybe that was a fluke. He launches another, and it hits Cell, doing nothing. And then another, and then another. He launches a flurry of candy beams at Cell, but none of them do anything. And he wonders, maybe this has something to do with Babidi. He did absorb his whole essence after all. And maybe he has control over his magical abilities now too. Wondering if he can somehow tap into that. Or even better, maybe he can control Buu. But Gohan's not gonna waste any time here. He'll end this now. He's still worried that using his full power might play into Babidi's plan somehow, but Babidi's gone, and this is the only way to find out. Because again, they don't know anything about what's going on here, why Babidi's here, or how their energy was even taken in the first place. They just know that it was taken, and giving off too much energy might be a problem. Plus, the longer he uses Super Saiyan 3, the more of that power is going to leak out. And Gohan starts charging, but Cell tells him to hold on for a minute. As far as he could tell, what Gohan's about to do definitely won't hurt. But he does want to try something else just in case, something that might be a bit safer. Babidi can manipulate the evil in people, and now Cell has all of Babidi's powers absorbed within it. He did take Babidi's entire essence after all, and that makes Cell wonder, maybe he can manipulate the evil in other people, and maybe he can suppress it somehow. Do that to Majin Buu, basically neutering him. He definitely has these abilities now. He wasn't affected by the candy beam at all, so maybe he has the rest of Babidi's powers too. Gohan powered back down, telling Cell to make it quick, and if this doesn't work, he'll just erase Buu without any trace. The only reason he's letting Cell try this is because he is still wary about giving off too much energy. So Cell tries to focus on Buu, trying to pinpoint that evilness within him, trying to tap into those powers that he got from Babidi. And it works. He's actually able to locate that evilness within Buu, try to suppress it. And Piccolo comments on it too. He can feel that energy fading. Not only is Buu's power in general going down, but that dark malicious side of his ki, it's becoming less prevalent. Surprisingly enough, Cell's able to do it. He's able to do the opposite of what Babidi did. Instead of amplifying the evil in someone's heart, he used it to negate the evil in Boo's heart, suppressing it, with Boo falling to the ground unconscious too. They're impressed with his power, but also a bit terrified that it's now in Cell's hands, and he walks over to Boo smugly. Honestly, he's surprised that worked. He didn't think it would go that well. But he notices something strange. On Boo's back, something begins bubbling almost. Hot air shoots out of it, and Cell barely jumps out of the way. And they feel the evilness spike again, but this time, it's pure evil. There's nothing innocent in it, and it's a little bit weaker than before too, as something then flies out of Boo. That evilness completely split from him this time. Standing there now is a gray Majin Buu. Cell doesn't know how this could have happened. He suppressed that evil. They all felt it too, but Piccolo theorizes. Boo is a being that was made from pure evil after all. He doesn't know how, but that fat Boo, somehow that evil was a little bit suppressed. And Cell tried to fully suppress it, but that made Boo unstable, causing that evil to fully split out of him. And they could feel the energy in the other Boo, the good one. There's not a speck of evil in his energy, while the other gray Boo, it's pure evil. Whatever Cell did seemed to have worked, but it just didn't go exactly how he wanted it. And Gohan steps up this time saying he doesn't want to take any more risks. He aims a hand out at the evil Boo, and without hesitation, launches a beam that completely erases it, without even powering up into Super Saiyan 3 either. Vegeta's amazed watching this. He thought Gohan would at least have to transform for that, but no, he was able to do that in Super Saiyan 2. Is he really that powerful in that form alone? He probably could have been the Fat Boo that way as well. Gohan says he's preserving his energy, but he used the full strength of Super Saiyan 2 there. Besides, he learned the hard way to not be too safe with a foe who could regenerate after all. Gohan then walks up to the Fat Boo, ready to eliminate him as well. And no one stops him, but Cell notes there's no evil left within that Boo, and Piccolo actually concurs. Gohan stands over him, charging a blast once more. But Cell actually tries to stop Gohan. He tells him to just wait a moment. He might have an idea of what to do with Boo. But Gohan doesn't really want to listen to it. He just wants to eliminate him now. He still has no clue why these people were even here in the first place, but they're not here for good reasons. They can't let this monster live. But Cell grabs Gohan's arm, telling him to just observe. Cell places a hand on Boo, trying to give a little bit of energy to him. What's Cell planning? Boo then lifts himself up, now conscious again. But he reminds them, he has all of Babidi's powers now. Maybe he can command Boo, or at least figure out how to command him if he can't right now. But more importantly, he tells them once again, focus on his energy. It's like what Piccolo said, and it's like what they felt before. There's no evil in him at all. This guy poses no threat. And Gohan wonders what Cell's trying to say. He has some sort of plan in mind, doesn't he? Why is he keeping Boo alive? The real reason is, I want Boo to live in one of my scenarios for once. He always ends up dying, so this time, I'll let him stick around. But as for the actual scenario itself, the reason Cell has is actually pretty strange. He's out in space, all alone the entire time. They clearly don't want him here on Earth at all. But Cell does have to occupy himself somehow. He does want to train, and he doesn't really have a good training partner for that. Having a pal out there in space could really help him out, not just in terms of power, but just in terms of his boredom too. And he asks Boo, can he breathe in space? And Boo just nods his head. Perfect. Look, it would be great to bring him out in space with Cell. He's the only one who can go out there anyways. And Cell says if they let him keep Boo alive, then he won't stay on Earth. He can clearly tell Piccolo and Vegeta aren't too sure about it, and maybe not Gohan either. That doesn't mean he's going to leave Earth alone though. He will come back, especially to fight Gohan again. And Cell asks Boo to come train with him. He says he'll get him all the candy he wants. They can just turn random asteroids into food. And Boo cheers. He's pretty excited about it, but Vegeta's not so excited about it. He says this is bad news. They can't let Boo live. Gohan's gotta agree too, right? He was just about to eliminate Boo. But Piccolo says Cell is telling the truth. Boo is not evil at all. He's completely innocent somehow. It's actually incredible what happened. Somehow Cell was able to completely separate that evil from him, even if it was accidental. He's just a completely pure being now, but instead of pure evil, it's pure good. Cell chuckles a bit and says if they change their mind, they can come find him and destroy Boo and him themselves. Until then, use this as motivation. It's gonna help him a lot, and he and Boo fly off into space. He finally has someone to keep him company, and he'll whip Boo into shape. What better way to get vengeance on Babidi? Destroying the one thing that he wanted to unleash, taming him, and then using him to grow stronger personally. Had he caused any more havoc, it wouldn't have gone this way. But Boo didn't really get to do too much in his time here, and he waves to them, saying he'll see them soon. Gohan and Piccolo just watch, and Vegeta asks Piccolo bluntly. He is Kami after all, so he should know this. Should they be worried? And Piccolo reiterates, he wouldn't have said it before if he didn't believe it, but he didn't feel any evil in Boo at all. He only felt some in Cell, but it wasn't really as big as before. Besides, remember what Babidi mentioned to them while he was alive. He said Cell's evil was there, but was suppressed. Piccolo says maybe the same goes for him and Vegeta. Boo was even purer than them. The only person that was even comparable to him was Gohan. But even then, his Super Saiyan form had a little bit of maliciousness within that. He wonders if Babidi would have been able to possess them as well. And Vegeta's annoyed that Piccolo would even suggest that. A Saiyan prince like him wouldn't get possessed by that pest. But he's calm for now, not too worried about Cell or Boo. He wonders if he can grow powerful enough to face them too. He knows he probably doesn't have to worry about them as a threat.
And honestly, Piccolo's still not too sure about Cell either. It's been this way for years. And he doesn't know if he'll ever fully accept Cell being there still. But surprisingly enough, Gohan's come to accept it. He's grown so much stronger than Cell, and knows he'll continue being stronger than Cell too. No matter what, he'll have the power to defeat Cell if he ever needs to. And he can clearly see, his influence is rubbing off on Cell. It kinda reminds him of Piccolo in a way. He remembers back to when Piccolo was first training him as a kid, telling Piccolo about how Goku viewed him. He wasn't as evil as before. It's almost like Goku rubbed off on him. And now, it might be the same for him and Cell. Besides, Cell is part Goku after all. Cell's DNA does have a lot of evil in there. That pure evil DNA that Frieza and King Cold had. But there's also Goku in there, pure good. Maybe that side is just as easy to influence. Cell clearly isn't even close to there yet, but he's way better than he was before. And Gohan wonders what the future is going to be like for that. Out of nowhere, two people then teleport into the battlefield, looking around frantically, asking what happened. Piccolo looks mortified, and Vegeta and Gohan don't know why, but Piccolo says, "That's the Supreme Kai," explaining the hierarchy, and then they realize why this guy's a big deal. Well, why is he here? He said he's here to see what's happening with Buu. What happened? And Gohan explains. At first, Shin's happy to hear about that, but then Gohan gets to the end of the story where Buu leaves. He and Kibito are mortified. They let Buu go? Well, they let a pure good Buu go. And then Shin thinks on it a bit. Well, if what they said is true, the evil essence of Buu may have been completely separated from him and completely erased, with the other one having the influence from the Kais. All that's left is all the good parts of Buu and the two Kais within him. Well, at least it's good to hear that Babidi's dead, and Buu's basically not a threat anymore. And now that they mention it, Shin tries to sense any sort of evil present in the universe, trying to pinpoint Buu's energy. It is pretty high, and he and Cell didn't really make it too far yet, since they didn't teleport away, they just flew away. And he could sense it moving away, trying to focus on it, realizing that, yeah, it's just good. He's honestly really surprised. So they did defeat Buu, but not in the way he expected. He's amazed for a few reasons, because first of all, Buu is revived. Second of all, these people defeated him without any sort of warning or anything. And the strangest part of it, they're able to defeat him without actually killing him. They apologize for not arriving sooner. But Piccolo says he's just glad that they got here in general, explaining everything to them now. He is a bit concerned about Cell and Buu, even if they don't seem like threats for now, but he'll do something about it. Just like Vegeta, he'll use this as motivation for himself. There's a passage of time. Gohan ends up going to school, meeting Videl and all. And eventually we get to a world tournament, with Goku coming back for a day. He's been watching everything, and he's very happy with what's been going on. And this tournament's actually not going to be crashed. It goes pretty smoothly. And the outcome of the tournament is pretty unsurprising. The finals are between Goku and Gohan. And Goku asks Gohan, show off that power that he got. He has been watching from Otherworld after all, and knows that new strength that he has. He says not to hold anything back. He won't hold back either. Gohan then powers up into Super Saiyan 3, with Goku surprisingly doing the same. He tells Gohan he was able to learn this while he was dead as well, and it seems to work a lot better in Otherworld. The two both clearly recognize the upsides and the downsides of this form. And it seems with Goku being dead, it's a little bit easier to use here. Although it will shorten his time in the living world, so he has to kind of use it sparingly here. He doesn't want to go back too soon after all. The two fight, and much to Gohan's surprise, he ends up winning here. Goku knew he had it in him. Even though he's been training non-stop for 7 years in Otherworld with the greatest warriors ever, he knew that Gohan would be able to stay ahead. But he still has one more challenge ahead of him, Mr. Satan. After beating Goku in the finals, he now has the chance to fight Mr. Satan one-on-one, who actually faked his sickness before and is now going up against Gohan. Looks like he's going to have to fake it again here, but Gohan throws the match because he doesn't want to piss off Vidal's father. He already isn't really on his good side. And with the Buu events not happening here, it's the only opportunity he has here to make himself look good to Mr. Satan. But Goku enjoys the remainder of his day here on Earth. He wonders if that Buu guy will ever return at Cell. He's surprised that Cell's not here now too, because he'd actually like to see him again, even though he was the one responsible for his death. But he's sure he'll see him again soon somehow. And with his day up, Goku ends up returning to Otherworld. Goku continues his training there. Gohan, Piccolo, and Vegeta continue on Earth, while Cell begins his new training with Buu in space. Should they have let him go? Well, I wanted him to live anyways. So, besides the point, what I say goes. But in all seriousness, we'll see what happens next time, because this is where we're going to leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part, and what's going to happen next? Leave any thoughts or suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more videos like this, or if you just want to help with the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.